Good afternoon, I'm Vashan Brown with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The police force in the corporate area is to be restructured in an effort to curb the upsurge in crime. Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang outlined the details as he faced questions in the Standing Finance Committee late last night. Prince Moore reports.
The 6 police divisions in the corporate area recorded a 73% increase in murders for the year up to the end of February, with 109 murders reported versus 63 in the corresponding period last year. Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, facing questions in the Standing Finance Committee, acknowledged.
Much of the killing, which is the index you're examining, is a result of inter-gang wars.
He said the states of emergency have significantly reduced those kinds of killings in several areas. He added that the upsurge in the corporate area will get special attention.
We expect that significant administrative and strategic changes by the Commissioner of Police and the Army will have an impact during the course of this year.
The administrative changes include bringing all the police divisions in the corporate area under one command instead of it being split between the police area 4 and 5 divisions, and adding St. Thomas to the command to deal with the killings in the Bull Bay area, which borders St. Andrew and St. Thomas.
That is being implemented as we speak, and of course there will be reorganization of the formations in that area to deal with what is termed the metropolitan crime upsurge. In the meantime, yes, they have increased the level of activity, not only SOE, but in terms of cordon search, curfews, and special operations. But I think the need to create the uniform command structure is critical, and we expect to see results on that.
So
there'll be increased equipment as well, body cameras, similar quick response team as we did in Montego Bay, and additional mobility.
He said he expects the restructuring and the increased use of technology, such as the expanded CCTV system and more vehicles for the police, to have a significant impact on the levels of murders in the corporate area this year. And he pointed to Montego Bay, where he said despite high-profile murders, the city and its parish are recording the lowest homicide rate in 27 years, and suggested that the administration may be looking to ease the state of emergency there.
Montego Bay is going nearly 2 years and begin to look like we can phase it down.
He said technology such as the Jamaica Eye program, on which the government has spent $750 million so far, will help the police to curtail crime in that city. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, Dr. Chang said he will also look at the legislation governing district constables and the role they play in the police force with a view of giving them more authority.
And in the process, we are looking at how we can expand the use of such an individual so we can increase the numbers on a rational basis. For example, there is no need for a fully trained police officer to do traffic control. It's almost an abuse of the man's professional skills to have him daily on traffic management. Traffic lights should be enough, but you certainly can get a traffic monitor as a district constable to give him the authority required. It's also true that for an area that can be contentious, we have 630 CPOs. We have 610 fully trained police officers. CPOs is ridiculous. And we need to review that policy because, again, a misuse of trained police officers in that kind of position. In many cases in Jamaica, many of the people having them as CPOs don't have the risk factor that justifies a fully trained police officer. And many of them are not used as police officers for security purposes. And it is also a disincentive to the police officers.
And 2 new zones of special operations, ZOSOs, are to be declared in the new fiscal year, which begins in April. Dr. Chang also made that disclosure during last night's Standing Finance Committee. He was facing questions about the recent announcement from the Prime Minister that up to 20 ZOSOs could be declared this year.
You will recall, Minister, that the Prime Minister had indicated that there would be 20 new states of zones of special
No, there's
operation.
2 new states, but there are 20 places to be looked at. But all 20 will be done this year.
All 20 will be done this year.
Would not be done this year.
Will not be done this year.
No.
Oh, that's not what we were led to believe.
We don't have the either the human capacity. We don't have the human capacity, or in fact, even the in any way to manage 20 zones of special
So
operations.
that 20 announcement was a little bit
No, he said there are
premature.
20 areas that require, in fact, 21 areas that justifies zones of special operations.
Oh.
They'll be introduced on a phase basis. I think you'll get 2 more very early in this year.
Now, there are currently 2 ZOSOs in operation, one in Mount Salem, St. James, and the other in Denham Town, West Kingston. They're areas where the security forces go to stem crime while social programs are implemented as part of mitigation efforts. The Justice Ministry is expecting to rake in some $138 million from the issuing of traffic tickets. A significant portion of these funds are slated to be used in the refurbishing of the country's court facilities. But member of the Standing Finance Committee, Dr. Maurice Guy, questioned Justice Minister Delwar Chuck on plans for the Anotobe Courthouse, which he notes is in a deplorable condition.
Anotobe is a problem.
We know, that's why I'm asking.
Let me just explain. And to be frank with you, we did a lot of work to renovate Anotobe, but it is stationed, and I've been there a few times. First of all, when court is operating, they can't hear because of the taxis around.
The AG knows what we're talking about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, and the last CJ, we did put to her, maybe we should really abandon that court. To be frank with you, it's not appropriate. It's just not appropriate to have, a court.
You mean abandon the building?
The building, yes, the building. Because Port Maria is really in a very good state. Gale is underutilized, but admittedly it's far away. It's far away. So it would be nice to see if we can find somewhere more appropriate to have cases being tried in Anotobe or in that vicinity. But I'm a little concerned because we did spend a fair amount of money, but when you don't use courts often, rat bats, which is what happened to the Anotobe, take over and mess up everywhere.
And we now take a break, but more stories right after these messages. Please stay with us. Welcome back, continuing the news. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says there are no immediate plans to reopen the Jamaican embassy in Venezuela. The embassy was temporarily closed on April 1 last year as part of the Foreign Affairs Ministry's review of its missions overseas. However, Mrs. Johnson-Smith in the Standing Finance Committee yesterday said she doesn't know when it will be reopened.
You have closed the embassy in Venezuela.
Yes.
You have, and there's no plan to reopen.
No immediate plan.
You don't own the building, so you're not paying any rent or anything. Fine.
Mrs. Johnson-Smith said she would, however, consider a suggestion to expand the Jamaican mission in China, which now has only 4 people. She also said the ministry remains in contact with Jamaicans in China as the COVID-19 outbreak grips that country. And speaking of COVID-19, the viability of the country's booming tourism industry is under threat as the coronavirus continues to spread globally. Workers in the sector say they aren't leaving anything to chance and have already started taking precautionary measures. Janella Perseus has that story.
Best driver in the world.
Best
driver in the world.
Yeah.
The relationship between tourists and workers in the industry is usually cordial, but with the advent of the coronavirus, some have abandoned the most common form of greeting, the handshake.
We don't really shake tourists and hug them, because of that purpose. As tour drivers, we have to be courteous and friendly, but this time, knowing that the virus is so dangerous, you have to try all the best to no touching, avoid touching, because it can be an issue where you can spread the virus or spread to yourself or to your family.
And it's not just in Jamaica. People worldwide are abstaining from giving pecks on the cheek, hugs, and high fives as they try to minimize the risk of contracting COVID-19 and prevent it from spreading. In this video, German Chancellor Angela Merkel was snubbed by her interior minister as she reached to shake his hands. In fact, the foot shake has become the new handshake. Jamaica has not recorded any cases of the virus, but workers in the tourism sector have become particularly cautious given the fact that they interact with people from around the globe.
We sanitize our vehicle. If a tourist get in our vehicle, after they get out, we sanitize again. And you keep doing that, washing your hands daily. Every minute you get a chance to wash your hand. If you shake the tourist hand, you wash your hand. You protect yourself at any cost.
At the Montego Bay Craft Market, this vendor proudly displays her Lysol.
I do a lot of cleaning yesterday, and as they come in, anything they touch, I'll clean it, wash my hands, and just pray that it doesn't reach Jamaica.
At the same time, there is skepticism that COVID-19 will reach Jamaican shores.
Jamaica is a blessed country. Prayer move any mountain. And while you put your trust and confidence in God, Him protect we all over.
The fact that tourists coming here, why?
Listen me, we have a minister who work for us. And that minister out there, he put people all around to test what is coming in. And we can put with trust and confidence in that minister because he's working.
Okay. So you're not going to prepare?
Me not prepare. Brother, me drink me bush as what me used to drink. Me seriously, me ginger, me garlic, everything. Me used to drink it.
Shonella Precious, TVJ News.
The Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, is reporting that traffic congestion and indiscipline on the roads remain a challenge in Spanish Town and Old Harbour in St. Catherine. Senior Superintendent Everald Linton says it's difficult to curb indiscipline in the towns. He was speaking on behalf of PSTEB at a recent commercial service meeting in the Old Capital. SSP Linton says more public education is needed to curb the illicit practice by motorists.
At times it's a cat and mouse game. As the good gentleman said, once the transport authority persons, once the police are in town, then you will have some semblance of order. We need to think of education in terms of the motorists. We need to think of education in terms of the pedestrian, the passenger, the people who are taking these vehicles. They need to understand that they have to go inside the bus park to await the vehicles and not congregate on the outskirts to allow the taxi men to stop.
To news from the region now in Guyana, as the slow counting of ballots continue from Monday's regional and the general elections, diplomats have urged citizens to remain calm. The chief elections officer explained that weather and administrative issues are affecting the pace of counting. The Guyana Elections Commission is projecting that full preliminary results could be available today. Yesterday, the commission warned of a fake website posting results. Now, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, urged Guyanese to wait and hear the tabulation of the results and when the Guyanese people have spoken to accept the results. And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In the next edition of the health report, we look at cleft lip and cleft palate.
The fact is that we do not have enough of these patients being born for screening to be feasible, right? However, genetic screening, by and large, is not a very popular thing that is done in Jamaica, but it is readily available overseas for persons who can access it.
All right, so in summary, can you just summarize? That's the health report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's healthy living tip. When feeding a child with a cleft lip or cleft palate, use a specialized cleft palate bottle, as demonstrated by your baby's medical team. Place your baby in an upright sitting position to prevent the formula from flowing back into the nose area. And keep the bottle tilted so the nipple is always filled with milk and pointed down away from the cleft.
And time now for sports. RJR Gleaner Group took another step towards securing a place in the finals of the Business House 1 Basketball Championship following Business House basketball competition following a 53-39 victory over Ministry of Education on Monday night at the National Stadium. Tommy McDonald led the scoring for RJR Gleaner Group with 26 points, while Jerome Thomas had 19 for MOU.
And they're going to come out the next game even more intensity, so we can't be relaxed even though we're up 1. Can't be too relaxed with this one, so let's go back to the drawing board to correct the mistake that we have made, and let's continue to trust God and just put out our best effort in game 2.
All we have to do in the second game is pass the ball more, support each other more.
Elsewhere, JMMB beat NCB 28-21, National Housing Trust beat Bank of Jamaica 27-22, while Sagicor B had a 39-30 win over Western Sports. Game 2 in the best of 3 quarterfinals will be played today. And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashan Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.